Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 5. So repeat after me. Rishibhir Bahuda Gitam Chandor Bhividike Prathak Brahma Sutra Pradeshcheva Hetu Madbhir Vinishchita. Word-to-word translation. Rishibhi, by the wise sages. Bahuda, in many ways. Gitam, described. Chandobhi, by Vedic hymns. Vivide, various. Prathak, variously. Brahma Sutra, of the Vedanta. Padeh, by the aphorism. Ka, also. Iva, certainly. Hetu Madbhi, with cause and effect. Vinishchintaya, certain. Translation. That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of the activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is especially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the highest authority in explaining this knowledge. Still, as a matter of course, learned scholars and standard authorities always give evidence from previous authorities. Krishna is explaining this most controversial point regarding the duality and non-duality of soul and the supersoul by referring to a scripture, the Vedanta, which is accepted as authority. First he says, this is according to different sages, as far as the sages are concerned. Besides himself, Vedavyasa, the author of Vedanta Sutra, is a great sage, and in the Vedanta Sutra, duality is perfectly explained. And Vedavyasa's father, Parashara, is also a great sage, and he writes in his books of religiosity, Aham Tvamcha Tathanya, we, you, I, and the various other living entities are all transcendental, although in material bodies. Now we are fallen into the ways of three modes of material nature according to our different karma. As such, some are on higher levels and some are on lower nature. The higher and the lower nature exist due to ignorance and are being manifested in an infinite numbers of living entities. But the super soul, which is infallible, is uncontaminated by three qualities of nature and is transcendental. Similarly, in the original Vedas, a distinction between the soul and the super soul and the body is made, especially in the Katha Upanishad. There are many great sages who have explained this. The Parashara is considered principal among them. The word Chando Bihi refers to the various Vedic literatures. The Taittiriya Upanishad, for example, which is a branch of Yajurveda, describes nature, the living entity, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated before, Kshetra is a field of activities, and there are two kinds of Kshetrajana, the individual living entity and the supreme living entity, as stated in Taittiriya Upanishad 2.9, Brahma Pucham Pratashtishta. There is a manifestation of Supreme Lord's energy known as Annamaya. Dependence upon food for existence. This is materialistic realization of Supreme. Then is a Pranamaya. After the realizing the Supreme Absolute Truth in food, one can realize the Absolute Truth in the living symptoms or life form. In Jnanamaya, realization extends beyond the living symptoms to the point of thinking, feeling, and willing. Then there is a Brahman realization called Vijnanamaya, in which the living entity's mind and life symptoms are distinguished from the living entity himself. The next and the supreme stage is Anandamaya, the realization of the all blissful nature. Thus, there are 5 stages of Brahman realization which are called Brahman Pucham. Out of these, the first 3, Annamaya, Pranamaya, and Jnanamaya, involves the field of activities of living entities. Transcendental to all these fields of activities is a Supreme Lord who is called Anandamaya. The Vedanta Sutra also describes the Supreme by saying Anandamayo Bhyasat. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is by nature full of joy. To enjoy his transcendental bliss, he expands into Vijnanamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, and Annamaya. In the field of activities, the living entity is considered to be the enjoyer. And different from him in the Anandamaya. That means that it is the living entity describes to enjoy in dovetailing himself with the Anandamaya. Then he becomes perfect. This is the real picture of the Supreme Lord as a supreme knower of the field, the living entities as the subordinate knower, and the nature of the field of activities. One has to search for this truth in the Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra. It is mentioned here that the codes of Brahma Sutra are very nicely arranged according to cause and effect. Some of the sutras are aphorisms are Na Vyad Ashrute, Natma Srute, and Paratuchat Strute. The first aphorism indicates the field of activities, the second indicates the living entity, and the third indicates the Supreme Lord, the summoned woman, among all manifestation of various entities. ओम अज्ञानं तिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मायं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं सावधैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Very long purport but a lot knowledge. And every time when we read Srimad Bhagavad Gita shloka, everything seems to be very new, enchanting, and full of knowledge. In today's verse, it's been mentioned here previous authorities. the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the highest authority in explaining the knowledge of Vedanta Sutra. Here in this chapter we are reading about the nature, the enjoyer and the consciousness, Kshetra and Kshetragya. So here Krishna is the highest authority, and then when we come, we need to learn from Krishna or from authorized gurus and Vaishnavas. This is called the parampara. Why we follow the parampara? Because when we are into the line of proper following rules and regulation, and disciples are being given instructions and are followed properly, the nectar of knowledge reach to the ultimate person as it is. That is why the parampara is very much important. Otherwise, anybody can give knowledge whatsoever. They think they are very learned, but then it has to come from authorities. Here in our ISKCON, we follow Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, and that is coming from Shri Krishna, Brahma till Srila Prabhupada. So I'll relate a very small quick story what the work of parampara actually is. When we talk about parampara, means the lineage of guru after another guru. Here it's been mentioned you need to take the knowledge from the right authorities which are superior in understanding or which are following parampara. So let's come back to the story. There were few people, they were standing near a big mango tree, and the ripened mangoes were too enchanting for them, and they wanted to taste that. There were one set of people, they just wanted to get it somehow, so they started throwing stones on the mango. So one time, two time, three time, then they got a stick, they just started shaking the tree, and the ripened mango started falling down. For them, yes, they have heard about mangoes, but they have never tasted, and to see it ripen form was also very attractive. So when they tasted the mango, it was all mix of mud, dust, very very small pebbles, and they said we didn't like it. The mango is not that good fruit. I don't know why people are always keep telling mango is the king of fruits. They didn't like the taste of mango, the ripened mango direct from the tree, but it got mixed with mud, dust, pebbles and everything. So the actual taste of the mango got lost because the process was wrong. The tree is same, the mango is same, but the process is wrong. Then there was next set of people, they also saw the mango tree, mango there, ripen everything. They also wanted to taste the mangoes. They have only heard of, they have never tasted, but they followed the proper process. One was standing down, they made a proper chain, and another was near the tree, another took on the shoulder of another one, then up branch, and they reached to the topmost where the ripened mangoes were hanging. They took the mangoes from there, they came down, they all enjoyed the mango, and they given the conclusion that mango is very sweet nectarian fruit. It's rightly said that mango is a king of fruits. So what we learn from it, the tree is same, the mango is same, the people who are trying to reach are different. They are following different process. That is why we require proper authorities. That is why the parampara works. That is why we need to be in any parampara. There are 4 sampradaya, 4 paramparas. Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Nimbarka Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya and Kumar Sampradaya. So these 4 schools of spirituality are authorized. When you go join them, they give you the ripened mango. They will give you the actual Vedantic knowledge, the actual spirituality, because they are following one after another and getting that ripened mango, which is Krishna, which is a supreme personality of Godhead. So we are following the parampara and then we are relishing the fruit. So that is, we need to follow the previous authorities, Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj. That is very much required. Whimsically we can't act and we can't taste it, rather we're gonna lose our taste. Whichever small amount of spark of bhakti, whatever spirituality we want to seek, if we are not channelizing our efforts toward a right way, we're gonna make ourselves more wondrous about, it's not that good actually, but people are telling it good, so you will be in a dilemma what to do, where to go, and what exactly it is. So better always follow the authorities. Here we have so many lines mentioned for Vedanta Sutra, and as we know, they are Vedas are the mother and they take us toward our father. Only a mother can tell who is the father. So the Vedas are the mother and she takes us close to Krishna. So we have to take the refuge of the Vedas and understand who is the supreme personality of Godhead. People have so many Devi Devatas, they are worshipping Devi Devatas, but they think they are the ultimate. Yes, we need to respect them. Yes, we need to learn from them, but then we have to surrender only to Krishna, because he is the supreme personality of Godhead. When you have no Vedas, you're gonna act the way you feel like. In my area, people say this is right, I will act that way. In this area, people say this way, so you will act that way. But which is the right path? For each and every one, the universal path. The universal path is Vedas, Vedanta Sutras. So they are Shruti and Smriti. Shruti and Smriti. Shruti is heard of. Today also we are getting knowledge through ears. We never get knowledge from eyes. We are always hearing. Even when we are chanting, we are being instructed that you should hear at least. It should not be totally silent. You should hear while you are chanting. So the anubhuti of Gyan is always done through ears. That is why Shruti Gyan is there. Then there come Itihasas, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Purana. So they are long list. But then we keep on condensing and we reach to Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why Srimad Bhagavatam is given to us by Vedavyasa. Even though he himself has written everything, but he was not happy. So his guru inquired, why are you not happy? He is telling, I have written everything, but the inner satisfaction is not revealed to me. So he said, now you write directly about Krishna. So we got the nectar in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Gita is a Vani of Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. All past times are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we get the knowledge of what need to be done, what need to be avoided. That is why the word has come here, the cause and effect. Very important. Everything, whatever we are doing is going to give us one or another kind of effect, that is known as karmas. Everything is having effect. So we have to be very careful. Vedas are giving you what to do, what not to do. But practicality comes when you start following it. Need to be very careful. In each and every work we are going to we are getting more and more karmas. But when we offer everything to Krishna Arpanam, then you are away from that, the vicious circle of karma, return karma, this karma, that karma. So you get away from all these things because you have become a devotee who is doing everything for the pleasure of Lordship. Validation is very much required. What that mean? From where you are learning all these things, from where you are getting all these instructions, these are called validations. So validations in Vedic knowledge are given by Sadhu, Guru, Shastra. These three. If you get bewildered in some or the other decision making, day to day life also, so you have to think of three things. What are these? What Sadhu says on this, what my Guru says on this, and what Shastra says on this. So that aspect can be clarified and you will come onto a very nice decision which will not take you toward wrong side, rather you will be onto the brighter side when you follow the validations of Sadhu, Guru, Shastra. This is very important for all of us, those who are following the path of spirituality. And like I mentioned, we have different schools of spirituality, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also has gone, he was the epitome of knowledge person, the one who is having all knowledge. He is himself Krishna, so the knowledge is there within himself, but he hasn't given any kind of more addition to whatever Vedas we are having. He has just given 8 verses, that's it. So need not to add on every time, accept the way it is and then keep on following that. That is a very beautiful thing we need to understand. Whatever Srila Prabhupada is giving in his lecture, whatever is written in Srimad Bhagavad Gita can be followed as it is without adding or making some sort of deleting something or adding something. That is not required. That is why this is called transcendental knowledge. When we used to study in our schools and colleges, I often quote this example because I was surprised to hear and I still under shock. We used to keep on learning 9 planets, and we used to make a different kind of notation just to keep remember one after another. But after so many years I got to know that there are only 8 planets. That's what science is telling. So the knowledge which we get in our schools and colleges are temporary. They keep on changing, they keep on revising the syllabus. But Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam is as it is, and we keep on reading, keep on realizing, keep on getting it more deeper and deeper in our heart. So this kind of transcendental knowledge require no changes. So people think those who are reading spiritual books are less intelligent, but Srimad Bhagavad Gita says those who are reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam on regular basis are very intelligent. They are intellects because they are seeking the highest knowledge, the highest truth. They cannot be fooled. So the smarters come this side. So here it mentioned that Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta Sutra. It's been explained here. First we need to understand that all Vedanta Sutra is aparushaya. It's not written by somebody who is up to the platform of 3 modes of material nature or who is in human limited form. Aparusha means which is not Purush beyond that. He never comes under the clutches of Maya. He never comes under the clutches of 3 modes of material nature. That is Aparusha. So Aparusha Gyan, that's what we are getting in our Vedanta. And who are others? Humans always commit mistake. It's been referred in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. They commit mistake after doing same thing again and again. Like I take an example for all Matajis. We keep on cooking, every day we are cooking, but we commit mistakes, Same thing we are doing again and again, we commit mistakes. Why? Because we are human, this tendency is there. Then to be illusioned, sometimes we lock our house, go out and again come back. I forgot to lock my house, my gas stove is closed or open. Even after closing, even after locking the house, we are illusioned whether I have done it or not. So these are the problems there what exist in humans, but not in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jivas suffer from these kind of problems, but the Supreme Personality, the Super Soul, never. Then the cheating propensity, that is also very common to see. Maybe you will not cheat somebody on a bigger level, but on a smaller level, the propensity is there. We need to subdue it, but it's there. Nobody can say I'm not having it. Everybody has that. That's why it's been mentioned here. And the last one is imperfect senses. When we are sitting here, we are hearing lecture, we are reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita, what's happening to the next room? We have no idea. What's happening in my house? I have no idea. So this is imperfect senses. When our senses, our body is here, what's happening beyond the perception of senses, we can't go to that. But for the Param Purush, everything is opposite. He never commit any mistake. He is not under any kind of illusion. He is not having cheating propensity. His senses are unlimited. Opposite. That is why whatever the perfect is giving will be perfect. The Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Sutra is coming from the perfect one, Aparushaya. So it will be perfect. If I am going to write something out of my understanding, that can be a sort of addition as my understanding, but it cannot be a complete, because I myself is incomplete. The one who is incomplete can never give anything which is complete. We keep on evolving every day. We keep on discovering every day till our last breath. We are evolving into a better person, a better devotee, a better human being. Every movement. That is our position. So we have to seek the shelter of higher authorities and then keep on doing our sadhana bhakti. When we talk about Vedanta Sutra, Brahma is Swayambhu. He has not come from mother. He has come from Lord Narayana himself. So when the Swayambhu Brahma came, the knowledge, the transcendental knowledge, the knowledge appeared in his heart without saying or without telling. Everything appeared in his heart. Only first word he heard was tapa, tapa, tapa. To make it more stronger and profound, he went into tapasya, austerity. But everything was revealed to him through divine wish within his heart. So in this way, the Jivatmas, all of us, when we are practicing Krishna consciousness, we follow a setup and a kind of protocol. This has to be done, this has to be avoided to train our mind, to train our habits. Otherwise, in full of our life, sometimes it's very difficult for a single person to get up early morning. But when you become a devotee, slowly, surely it becomes a habit. So training is very much required. Guru is very much required. Whimsically, you cannot reach where you think you can reach. So here it's mentioned There, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya. So there are different levels where one get evolved, and slowly we have to come up to the platform where we get Anandamaya. So Anandamaya is a position where you are not get attached to anything. You are full in yourself, like Atmanand. Like Lord Krishna is Atmanand. We can never be like Krishna. We can never up to that stage. But when we quote these words, we have somebody who is there, Achyuta, the infallible one. It's been mentioned. It's so beautifully explained, and it's full of so much knowledge. Vedanta Sutra also describes the Supreme by saying Ananda Mayo Bhyasat, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is by nature full of joy. And we are full of problems. Not sorrow, but problems. If we are not getting that level of joy, that level of satisfaction, is because of our distractions. And distractions are because of our unlimited desires, our association, and our way of handling things. Like I have given the example, those who wanted to taste the nectar in the form of mango were throwing the stones rather than making a chain and getting it. So the process to be followed is very important. Otherwise we will always be entangled up to the level of Annamaya, Pranamaya, Jnanamaya. Vijnana and Anandamaya is where it's very difficult to reach without the shelter of Guru and right association. And also here, whenever we are reading something or getting abide by, it's very important to see who has given us this. So the evidences are very much important. Like we have Pratyaksha, Anumana and Shabda. What we are following is Shabda. We are not getting that Pratyaksha, because Pratyaksha can also be wrong sometimes. Why so? What we see, actually we perceive it through our senses, and senses are limited and can never give us the right result. Like if I see the sun, I can say it's a small round disk, but sun is actually the giant, hundreds of times bigger than earth. I don't know how many times multiply, then you will get a size of sun. It's too huge. But when we perceive it, Pratyaksha, we see it a very small. So Pratyaksha can also go wrong. Then Anumana. Maybe this right, maybe that right. I should follow this way, I should follow that way. Can like a difficult situation for you, because you are in hit and trial. May or may not, may not. But then when it comes to Shabda, these are the authoritative words followed by the Acharya, given by the Acharya, the sure success achieved by the devotees onto the path of spirituality. So that is one of the best way. So hearing is very important. Then we can actually understand. Because in Pratyaksha we can go wrong many times. What we see is not always right. Some may appear like a devotee, but he may not be a devotee. Pratyaksh. Oh, I was watching him and her. He was a wonderful devotee. But he turned out to be a demoniac person. Pratyaksha. Then Anumana. I was thinking that way. You are just playing games with yourself by putting Anumana. But Shabda. What are? Again, Sadhu, Guru, Shastra. Now the situation becomes very difficult. Surrender, think, and then come to decision. What my Guru Maharaj says, what Shastra says. So Sadhu, Guru, Shastra. What Sadhu says. So this way, make the decision. how you gonna understand? When you will hear, when you will read the scriptures, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, then only we will understand what is right and up to what level I can entertain this wrong. All of us can be wrong at some point, but we should put a line. Beyond that, I can't go. This is my limit. So we have to put limit. We all commit mistakes because we are human. Only Krishna can never commit. Even if he is running away from, he get glories. If he is running away from battlefield, he is glorified as Ranchor. We are doing Archan Pujan, singing songs, beautiful songs for Ranchor. But if a Kshatriya run away from a battlefield, he's been cursed to death. Family, people, relatives, oh, what kind of Kshatriya you are. You ran away from the battlefield. But if Krishna is doing all well, all beautiful. So everything is okay with Krishna, but not okay with us. We need to put our limits. We need to understand how is this, and keep on asking the senior devotees and seek their blessing and shelter and keep on moving. I'll stop here. It's so much to explain, but the time is running out. So I'll stop here. Any question or comment, most welcome. Yes. Which word, Prabhuji? Achyuta, the one who never falls from his position. We as devotees or jivatmas, we fall from our position in the sense we make wrong decision or we go astray from our path. But Krishna is Achyuta, who never comes down from his highest position. Like in schools and colleges, even the most exalted student, the intelligent one who is always standing first from grade 1st to 10th, maybe last in his 11th standard. But Achyuta is Krishna, who never comes down from the topmost, not to even second topmost. That is infallible. But we devotees, we as Jivatmas keep on moving from higher to low level. Why? Because we are into 3 modes of material nature. When we are into ignorance, we are totally don't want to wake up, don't want to take bath, don't want to listen, eat anything and everything. When we come on to passion, we wanted to do something, achieve something. Then also if we put somebody down, harm somebody in the mode of passion, we take it, it's okay. But when we are into mode of goodness, we at least think that this is good, this time waking up is good, this time sleeping is good, reading is good. So this way we get into ups and downs because of 3 modes of material nature. One day our passion will be high, we will be reacting differently. One day our ignorance will be high, we will be reacting differently. One day our mode of goodness will be high, we will be reacting differently. But for devotees, it's been mentioned that we should try to come up to the level of Shuddha Sattva, which is above mode of goodness. And Krishna is beyond all this. He is Anandamaya. He is happy in himself and he is Atmaram. He doesn't require anybody or anything.
What are the 3 modes of materialism?
That's what I mentioned, Prabhuji. 3 modes of material nature are mode of goodness, where you follow some sort of timetable. All scientists, intellects come into that category. Then comes mode of passion, where jujutsu is there. You want to achieve something. 99% of population, rank into this. We mostly into mode of passion because we want to achieve. The mindset is also put in that way. It's not wrong. When you direct it toward Krishna, the mode of passion will also help you to complete your round early morning, wake up early morning. So when you become a Krishna devotee, everything directed toward Krishna. The third is mode of ignorance, where you don't follow anything, you just whimsically Make your own rules and regulations and you follow that. People, those who are in mode of ignorance, never listen to any authority, not to even their parents. They will wake up opposite. At night they will wake up. They will like night parties more than waking up early morning. They will eat anything at every day. I mean, they have no rules, no regulation, and they are good in fooling others. Ignorant people make their surrounding also ignorant. They are very unclean, untidy in their words and in their action. A person can be recognized by his action, in which sort of place he is. Hare Krishna.